Hello there, welcome to this here live stream. I am Jack, and I am more than excited to introduce the lovely Ed Sheeran. So, this is a slightly surreal situation. We're in a studio in central London, in the Google studio, of all places, live streaming onto Ed's YouTube channel. And there's a lovely audience of about 50 fans and YouTubers and wonderful people. How are you guys doing? Yeah! All right. So tell me what you've been doing today. You've literally just come from Radio 1, being live on Radio 1?
Yeah, I did Mr. Jam on 1Extra, Zane Lowe on Radio 1. Before that, just a day of press, more radios and TV, some stuff. Did the box and Kiss.
And so Sing's now launched, right? The single, is it now launched? I mean,
yeah. No,
how's it going down? Have you been on the Twitter? Have you got
I have. It's all a bit much, like to take in. The reaction's been incredible. It kind of feels like the past month I've been pulling back a catapult and it's just let go, and I kind of don't really know what to read or what to look at. But everything that I've read is really positive.
Cool. Have you guys? Who's heard the song in here? Has anyone heard the single? A few people. All right. Well, we have prepared today a rather exciting thing. It's a video, not the official video for Sing. It's a video created by YouTubers, and it's a lyric video, and we're going to watch that now.
Brilliant.
It's late in the evening, lost on the side. I've been sad with you for most of the night, ignoring everybody here. We wish they would disappear, so maybe we could get down now. I don't wanna know if you're getting ahead of the program. I want you to be mine, lady, to hold your body close. Take another step into the no man's land for the longest time, lady. I need you, darling, come on, set the tone. If you feel the falling, won't you let me know? If you love me, come on, get involved. Feel it rushing through you from your head to toe. This love is ablaze, I saw flames from the side of the stage, and the fire brigade comes in a couple of days. Until then we got nothing to say and nothing to know, but something to drink and maybe something to smoke. Let it go until our roads are changed, singing we found love in a local rave. No, I don't really know what I'm supposed to say, but I can just figure it out and hope and pray. I told her my name, I said it's nice to meet you. Then she handed me a bottle of water filled with tequila. I already know she's a keeper, just from this one small act of kindness. I'm in deep, if anybody finds out. I meant to drive home, but I drunk all of it now. No, sobering up, we just sit on the couch. One thing led to another, now just kissing my mouth. I need you, darling, come on, set the tone. If you feel the falling, won't you let me know? If you love me, come on, get involved. Feel it rushing through you from your head to toe. And
seen that before?
I saw it briefly, but thank you so much for making that, everyone involved in making that. It's very cool.
Yeah, so it's worth saying there's a couple of the people from that video here today. There was lots of giggling going on in the studio. What's it been like, mate? So the single sounds great.
Thank
really
you.
Cool. What's it been like in the run-up to it? Has it been intense? I mean,
I guess it's intense, but I've had to keep my mouth shut about everything. So like, it's all been very downplayed. It's been intense in closed proximity, you know, doors and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. It's been fun. But now it's started. That I'll have to get back to you about that tomorrow because I'm in a bit of a mind.
Yeah, has it been a manic day today?
Yes. 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 Tomorrow's manic as well, and yeah, the rest of the week. It doesn't actually stop getting manic until August next year.
How long does it take to get to the point where you're at now? I mean, when did you start writing the song? Was it?
I started as soon as I handed in album 1. I started album 2.
Right.
Yeah, much like I've just started album 3 as soon as I've handed in album 2. But like I always want to be working towards something. So yeah, I did my first song for the record pretty much as I handed in the first album, probably like I don't know, May 2011. And that song actually didn't make the record. It's going to be a bonus track though. But yeah, the first song that made it on the record I wrote October 2011.
Cool. Why do you think it didn't make the album the first time? Has it changed since then, or?
No, because I wrote it after I'd handed it in.
Right.
I wrote it after I handed it in.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay, cool. Well, I think we're going to do, we've put out the hashtag #EdSings, and we've got some questions from the Twitter.
Brilliant.
And we're going to go through some of them now. Are you ready to answer some questions?
Oh, yep.
Okay, first one comes from Shirio, INA, and it says, give one word to describe your album.
Diverse.
Diverse. Ooh.
Yeah, it takes lots of different paths.
Yeah.
This is very different to anything I've ever done before, but there's some stuff on the album that's like the last album and some stuff that's like this that's completely different.
Okay, I'm gonna murder these names, by the way. These are the hardest names to pronounce. FXLLING Forward says, why did you choose green as the colour for your next album?
Surely that'd be falling forward.
Well, as FX. FX, falling, fuxling for Ed. We'll go with that. Why did you choose green for the next colour of your album? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
I feel like every single one of my records should have a theme that runs through it, even if it's just a colour. The first one was orange throughout. Everything I did was orange. This one's going to be green throughout, and everything I'll do will be green. And like in terms of artwork and stuff like that. Yeah, I just think it's important to have a theme. It just makes it stand out. I noticed from Coldplay, whenever Coldplay release an album, that takes over them for the next 2 years. So like when they released Malo Zaloto, everything was spray painted in neon paint, and when they released Viva La Vida, they just dressed up like they were from the 1700s, and when they did Rush of Blood to the Head, it was just white shirts and black trousers. And like every album has had a theme, so I'm trying to do that basically.
I'm digging the theme, man. It looks good.
Thank you.
It looks good. I like
it's
the
a cool
writing.
colour scheme, isn't it?
Yeah. It's got the sort of scratch writing going on as well.
Yeah.
Someone did mention earlier it looks a bit like sing, but we're not going to read it that way.
Snig.
Snig or snig.
Snig.
Snig. Right, Sheeran Annoyed. I don't know why he or she is annoyed, but Sheeran Annoyed wants to know, will you dye your hair green for promo?
No, that's...
It would look good.
Your
What
hair
do you
looks
guys
fantastic.
think? We have someone here with green hair.
Your hair looks fantastic, but you know, I have a very pale skin complexion, and any other colour than ginger, it just doesn't really suit.
All right, Laet, by the way, Laety, by the way, I'm gonna go with that. Says, what was the best part about making your second album?
Being able to work with some amazing people, being able to go in the studio with someone like Pharrell, like that's something that I never expected to happen, and it literally just came from a tweet. He tweeted that he liked the A-Team. I was at the Grammys sitting 2 seats in front of him, and I kind of turned back and was like, oh, he knows who I am now. I'm going to go up and say hi to him.
Did you tweet at the time while you were at the Grammys?
No, he tweeted like 3 days before the Grammys, and then when I was at the Grammys, I was like, cool, I'm just going to go up and say hi to him and tell him that I like NERD and the Timberlake stuff, and I kind of went up, and he was like, yeah, man, we should work together. And I was like, yes, we should, yes.
He's an awesome guy. What was it like physically working with him? What type of person is he?
He's an embodiment of soul. Like, anything he says is just soulful, even the way he says it. And like, making the song, he didn't dance once, he just moved his neck very slightly, and like that was his way of like showing it was good. But he, because I was unsure of the beat to begin with, because it sounded completely different to anything I'd done, and I was like, oh, this is kind of out of my comfort zone. And every time that I'd write something that I'd be like, oh, actually that sounds alright, he'd just look at me and be like, oh, you know. But this kind of like really like he knew the whole time. Like he's always known like what works for people. Like he has a clear idea and he makes it happen.
Cool. Mo Lang says, what's the story behind the song? 4 question marks on this one.
A night out in Vegas. That sounds very rock and roll, but that's pretty much all it was.
Care to expand any more on it?
I think the song's pretty explanatory. It was late in the evening. There was a glass on the side. I've been sat with someone for most of the night, ignoring everybody there, and I wish they would disappear so we could have gotten down.
That makes sense. It's in the song. All right. Ed, the Ginger God, that's got to be a winner of a name, says, why do you pull your jacket over your hands, especially in interviews, etc.? Which you're not doing now, it has to be said.
I don't know, like, I used to see programs. It used to be the cool thing to have your thumb through your sleeve. And I used to do that at school. I used to cut holes in my jumpers and do that. So I guess it's just, it comes from that. I think it's quite comfy.
It's way more comfy. I've got a jumper like that.
Plus, my hands can get quite clammy at times. So if you always have them in here, they never get clammy because it soaks up the clam.
It's a top tip. Top tip. Fatboy Running says, what guitar do you use?
I always use a Martin. I've used a Little Martin from the beginning, but I made a Little Martin with the company Martin for a children's hospital in East Anglia, and as a thank you, they made me a one-off guitar out of like some really exotic wood and good bracing, and it's probably the most expensive thing that I own. And if I break it, I don't get another one, and I will have to buy it. So I'm trying not to break this one. But yeah, I played. It's just a one-off model. Yeah. Is
that the same brand as the one you started with? Because the one you start with has a little paw in it, right? And
yeah, it's the same brand. This one has a multiply symbol on it for the album. Yeah, got to promote it everywhere you can.
Got to do it. Amy C says, is there any other collaborations on X? If so, who? Brackets, if you can tell us.
There's no collaborations on the record at all, as in featuring artists, but I've worked with a lot of people. I did a lot of songs with Johnny McDade from Snow Patrol. We just wrote on tour in hotel rooms. Benny Blanco, who is the craziest dude that I know. We did a song together with Rick Rubin. Benny's like responsible for like Rihanna's Diamonds and most of Katy Perry's songs, and we got in the studio together and made this beat that was just infectious, and then he kind of buggered off for a couple of hours, and I wrote some very angry verses over it, and then he came back and we recorded it.
Oh, that brings me on to another question. It says, what was it like working with Rick Rubin?
He's a musical guru. Like, I went in with him at a time where I was completely done with the album. Not like finished, but just like didn't want anything more to do with it. It was just tiring. And yeah, he took me in, made me play all of the album live with a loop pedal, around 80 songs. Then we picked out the best ones and worked on them and kind of built them up. And he really just re-energized me in the whole process of it and made it all about the music again. Like, he completely shut off the world. He took me to Malibu. We lived by the beach every day and worked in the studio where the wind blew through it, and ate, like, he's mad healthy, so we're eating all this kind of vegan stuff and meat with weird it was healthy. But so yeah, I just basically focused for around 2 months with him and did nothing but music, and then I was able to get out of that experience and then get back into the studio elsewhere and have a completely different view on the record.
Sabina Moller says, what's the best part about playing music? That's a pretty general question.
Best part about playing music is it's the one thing I think I can do well in life, and it's the only thing I've ever been able to do really well. So I get to express myself, I get to enjoy myself, I make a living out of enjoying myself, as most of you YouTube guys do. It's quite fun, you know, to actually have a job where you enjoy it, you like getting up in the morning. So yeah, I'd say that's
the one. LT Ed Sheeran fan says, hey, at Ed Sheeran, do you consider doing more small gigs like the one you did at the Mercury Lounge in NYC, maybe in some cities in Europe?
Yes, of course. The album's called Multiply, and we're going to start off at small venues again and just multiply, and end in an arena tour worldwide. But everywhere we go, pretty much, for promo, we'll do small gigs. So it all starts off where it started again. And obviously we have got all the O2s that are going on in October, and there's stuff in Europe that's happening, and there's a lot of arenas going on sale this year, but we do start off in the small venues again.
Ellie Swift says, have you any tattoos to do with the new album, Smiley Face XO?
Yes, I got this Bloodstream. That's to do with the new album. That's the song on the album, and then I mean it kind of goes all the way up here.
God, that's intense, please.
But this 6th Street is a song that's on the record. There's a picture of the island of Tenerife because there's a song called Tenerife. See, there's just loads of stuff on there.
How long have you been building your sleeve for? All
It's
your
around,
tattoos?
it's around 3 years. Around 3 years.
Wow.
Got a few. I cover them up most of the time because my gran's always around. She doesn't like seeing them.
She does know you have them though. You haven't hidden them since.
You know what? I don't know if she knows I have. I think she sees them in pictures when I play live, and I think she thinks I paint them on as an
Like one of those
effect
sleeves
for a
you
live
can buy.
for a live gig. Yeah, because I always wear sleeves when I'm around her, and she's never brought it up, and she should have brought it up because she's not a fan of them.
You could probably buy one of those sleeves that has the exact replica of yours. Can
Yeah, my dad did that once. He turned up with a sleeve and was like, oh, and I was like, no, you can see it's fake.
Oliver Bale says, "Are you ever going to release your unreleased songs like I Never Fell, etc.?"
Do you know what? Wiley did a thing a couple of years ago where he just made a zip file of like 174 songs and just put it on the internet. Maybe one day I'll do that, but I think at the moment it's good to focus on stuff that's quality, and everything that I put out, make sure it's the best possible thing that I can possibly put out at that time, so I never slip in anyone's estimations. As long as stuff's quality, it's good. And further down the line, if I want to just zip up a load of files and just give them out to people, and people know that it's not my best stuff and it didn't make the albums for a certain reason, then yeah, I would do that.
How many are there? Hundreds?
Hundreds, yeah, literally hundreds. Literally hundreds.
Wow. Right, Jen1534 says, "Favorite audience or an audience that truly impacted you, whether it was knowing every single lyric to your song or how massive the crowd was?"
I played Afghanistan around a month ago for the troops, and that was probably one of the best audiences I've ever had, just from their energy that they bring to it, and also because they're all soldiers. They don't really take prisoners in both senses, but like they don't really let you get away with anything. So if you mess up on stage, they'll be like, ah, and you'll feel bad, and then you have to get yourself back from that. So it was like the most interesting crowd from a working the crowd point of view, but also just from the moment I stepped on stage, it was just love being just thrown, and not literally thrown, that'd be awkward. But no, yeah, fantastic crowd. They sung, they danced, So yeah, I'd say Afghanistan, and also going over there was like a big eye opener because I consider myself quite young, I guess. And I was having breakfast, lunch and dinner with the troops every single day, and most of the kids there were like 17, which is like 6 years younger than me, and I just assumed that all the soldiers that go over to Afghanistan are like, 27, 28, they've been in the army for a while, but they're literally just sending kids over there for 6 months at a time. And yeah, it was a big eye-opener.
How long did you spend over there?
I spent 3 days there, yeah.
All right, what else have we? Linda V says, "If you could collaborate with any artist, who would it be?"
If I could collaborate with any artist, do you know what? I'd like to meet Eric Clapton. I don't know if I'd do a song with him because I don't know if he'd do a song with me. But if he would, then yeah, wicked. But yeah, I'd love to meet Eric Clapton. He was the reason I picked up guitar. I saw him play Layla on TV and was like, I want to learn that. And yeah, that was the first song I learnt. So I'd like to meet him and tell him that that's the reason I started guitar. But I reckon every guitarist started guitar because of Eric Clapton. I'm sure John Mayer did. Like Eric Clapton's one of those dudes. So I don't know if it would resonate at all, but yeah, I'd like to tell him that.
All right, cool. I think we're going to open up to some of the audience members in here to grab some questions from these guys. Who would like to go first? Bethan.
I've got 2. Is that greedy? I don't even know.
It's not that greedy.
Okay, it's all right. I just thought I'd check.
Go for
Hi,
it.
I'm
Hey.
Bethan. I've been a fan since like 2008, so... Hi,
Thank
man.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. That's MySpace days.
MySpace days. Hell
Rest
yeah.
in peace. Sorry, does Google own MySpace?
Everything now. Everything.
Okay.
I've got 2 questions. The first one is, after obviously you played a lot of gigs, over the years, and then, what was it like to get picked up by such, a major label such as Atlantic Records? My second one is,
Can I answer the first one?
Yeah,
Answer the
one.
first
Yeah.
one.
Forget this. Yeah.
So to be, you know what, I did a lot of independent work before signing to a label to kind of build it up enough so I could choose the right label, because you get deals thrown at you, but they weren't necessarily the right deals to go with, as in teams. And I got to know Atlantic over a year of being independent there. The guy, Ed Howard, that signed me at Atlantic, came to every single show. Never offered a deal, but just came to every single show and just made sure he was there to hang out and be nice. And when it came time to sign a deal, he was my first choice, because it wasn't necessarily about who gave the most money, because we were honestly offered blank checks by most record labels, and Atlantic's deal wasn't anywhere near that, but it was more about the team, because I really got on with Ed, and Damien and Deirdre, who do the TV, could get me onto Jules Holland and get me on Zane Lowe, and it was like more about who had the connections rather than who had the money. So I had the connection with Ed originally, and then Ben, who runs the label now, and then it was more about the promo team and the press team and how everyone worked together. So that was the reason going with Atlantic, and yeah, they're a fantastic label. The thing I love about them is, like, we had such a success with the first record, and then with the second record, they were just kind of like, go off and do it, and then give it to us. And it's literally what I've done. I've given it to them, and they've put it on radio, and it's been fantastic. There's been no interference whatsoever. They've been very supportive. They've allowed me 3 years to make an album, which is kind of unheard of, unless you're Paolo Nutini and you bugger off for a 7. But it's yeah, it's good.
Cool. The second question is, I've actually forgotten. No, I haven't. How did it come about, you collaborating with Taylor Swift on her recent album?
The Taylor Swift collaboration came about. I was doing a gig with Snow Patrol in Nashville, and Taylor's pretty much the biggest thing you can find in America on a celebrity level and on a music level. She's huge. So when I was in Nashville playing this gig with Snow Patrol, you're just infected with all this kind of Taylor Swift. I've seen Taylor Swift on the radio, seen Taylor Swift on TV, seen these posters. I'm like, oh, because we didn't really have her in England. And so I checked her out. I heard a song called Enchanted, which I was like, that is a great song. And then that night, we played the Ryman, and her manager was there. And he came into the dressing room just to be like, hey man, like, I'm a big fan, it's nice to come down to the gig. And I was like, you're Taylor's manager? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, tell her I love her stuff. If she ever wants to write a song, I'm here. And he kind of like gave me a little pat on the back, like, yeah, all right. And then the next day, Taylor got in touch, and it turns out that she had heard my song in Australia, written the lyrics on her arm, remembered it, looked it up, and then her manager went back and said, you know, there's this guy who kind of wants to write with you. And then she was like, oh yeah, of course. So 3 days later, I was in Phoenix in Arizona, and she was in a hotel room. I went into the hotel room with a guitar.
Did you fangirl a little bit?
Huh?
Did you fangirl a little bit?
I didn't know, because I didn't really. You don't really when you're English. Like, I know she's massive in England now, but at that time I didn't realise the full magnitude of her as a presence. So it was more like meeting another musician who played a guitar and writing a song. And then the song went well. Got invited to her house to like eat food, and then go to the studio the next day. And when I went to eat food, we wrote another song, and then we recorded the 2 songs the next day, and one of them ended up being on the album, and one of them is out in the ether somewhere. But yeah, that's how I ended up working with Taylor.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Thank you for your questions. Who else has a question?
Chuck one back there. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rosianna. What are your ideal songwriting conditions in terms of like room and temperature and anything? any special like room requirements when you write songs?
The only thing I need is anyone who's not doing any creating needs to go. Like, I've been in some studios that hip-hop producers love doing this, where they just have studios full of just people on their Blackberries. That's all you get, just like random Asian dudes on their Blackberries in the corner, and that's it. And you're trying to create a song, and you don't know whether this guy's listening to you or judging you. He's not, he's just on his Blackberry. But like, yeah, I kind of feel when you're in that position, you're so naked in the sense that you're putting all your feelings on a plate, and if there's someone you don't know in the room who's just kind of sitting there, like, half judging you, half on the Blackberry, you don't really know. So like, most of the sessions I do are either just with me and an engineer or me and a producer, and that's it. So me and Pharrell were just me, him, and his wife, and Murray, the guy that films me. But his wife's like so chilled, she just kind of sits behind the mixing desk and just kind of does this, and like that means she likes it. If she doesn't like it, she's just going to be like writing something on her laptop. It's good. Pharrell said, like, whenever you make a tune, just make sure there's women in the studio, and you'll realise whether it will work or not. And I went in the studio with a guy called The Game in Compton, and he had these like 3 women that were in the corner. He had all his mates in the studio, and I know I've just gone back on what I said, but we weren't creating a song, we were recording a song that was already written. And he had all his mates in the studio, and these 3 girls in the corner, and they were just eating like chicken nuggets and chips and just kind of like disinterested in anything. We did this really heartfelt song, and they were just kind of like that. And we did this song with a guy called DJ Mustard. Does anyone know about Mustard on a Beat? Oh, you know that guy? Anyway, as soon as that kicked in, they're just eating this, and the beat kicks in, and they're like, oh, this my shit! And then that's how you can kind of gauge whether women are going to like it or not, if you just have women around. So Pharrell, that's what Pharrell does. He's just always got.
Awesome.
You got questions up here? Oh, you just skipped someone.
Oh, sorry.
We'll go back then.
Do you want to go back?
We'll go after.
Okay. How does it feel to know that the world's entire population of gingers looks to you for inspiration to allow us to go outside?
I feel that from a personal level, I mean, like, I see a few gingers in this room right now. We all went to school. We know what's happening in the world. And I feel like I'm Simply Red did it before me, but we're proving that it can be done. It can be done. You can go outside. Go outside. No, but it's mad. I remember I did a gig in Ibiza for Ibiza Rocks, and you can find the footage online. There's like an interview with me at a hotel before I played it. But it was so sunny. I literally they got me out on the side of the pool, and it was all idyllic. And like I started the interview, and I was like, no, I'm gonna and I literally sat in the shade while they interviewed me like a little cretin. But yeah, but thank you. Strength.
Strength.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm
Hello.
Jodie. I have a question about songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever find yourself like using your favorite or like go-to riffs or like vocal lines or whatever? And do you think that people will criticize you for it?
Yes, I do both. But I feel like, you can always go to your go-to things if you just want to get something out. But it depends. Like I'll always try new things. Like this was a completely new thing for me to do. But like if you listen to the album plus, 11 out of 12 tracks are all the same chord sequence, just with a capo and a different fret. And if you listen to any singer-songwriter album, that goes for Damien Rice, James Blunt, Ray LaMontagne, Jason Mraz, any singer-songwriter album, it's the same sequence. It's the same sequence for Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger. There's a certain sequence that just works for songs, and that's my go-to sequence. This was very different for me. That's why I was so opposed to it to begin with, because I felt like I don't know if these chords work, but like it, yeah.
I think we can all agree it sounds really good.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I think as a songwriter, there's always chords that you use and you always go to, and I go through phases of just using different ones. Like the Icy Fire chord sequence and riff was a riff that I was just playing for a while and trying on other songs, and I did other songs with that, and then that ended up being that song, I guess. There's always little ideas, and they're all based around the same thing, and they will end up on one song, I think. Yes, sorry.
No, that's great. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Dottie. A lot of us kind of look back at our first videos and cringe a lot from when we're younger and maybe delete them. I know you've got some on YouTube from when you were quite a lot younger and your voice sounds quite different. Do you ever look back at them and kind of cringe about them? Or?
I put all of them on private, but I saw the first one that I uploaded, and it's in my bedroom singing a Nizlopi cover, and my dad's filming it on my Nokia phone. Remember those old Nokia phones that had those huge memory cards, and you take it out and put it on the computer and upload it? So I found that the other day. It's good to watch the growth, but it's not good to let other people watch the growth, you know? So yeah, I think there's one back here. Sorry, I'm stealing your job, man.
No, not at all.
Hi, I'm Tom. I just wanted to ask, have you any advice or top tips for any upcoming musicians or any kind of wisdom you'd like to share?
Of course. I think the key... Have you ever heard of this theory about the 10,000 hours theory? Yes. Yeah. So that theory works, right? So when I first started out, I saw Damien Rice in concert, and I mention it in a song. I said, I won't stop till my name's in lights, Stadium Heights with Damien Rice, and literally, like, I watched him and was like, I want to do that one day, and wrote a million songs, did a million gigs, and have ended up kind of doing a similar thing. But it literally came from writing a song a day, or 2 songs a day, or 5 songs a day, and just getting all these songs out of me, doing a million gigs, sometimes 3 gigs a day. We did 6 gigs a day one year at Glastonbury. But I think you view it as a dirty tap. When you switch a dirty tap on, it's going to flow shit water out for a substantial amount of time, and then clean water is going to start flowing, and now and then you'll get a bit of shit, but as long as it gets out of you, it's fine. So with songs, you're going to write shit songs at the beginning. My songs were terrible. My raps were terrible. Like, I've listened to it the other day, it's awful. But I got it out of me, and the more and more you write, the more and more you experience, and then you start flowing clean water, and songs start getting better and better and better, and when you're on a good streak, you're writing good songs, now and then you're going to write a shit song, and that song is out of you and you can move on. And it's the same with gigs. Like, you will always play bad gigs at the beginning. That's what you need to do. And then the more gigs you do, the better you'll get. Now and then you'll have a shit gig, but that's all right because you've got it out of you and you've experienced it. So I just say the more and more you can do, you put in your 10,000 hours, write as many songs as possible, gig as much as possible. Always be nice to people because that is how the music industry works now. It doesn't work on who's the best. It works on who's got the best music and who's the nicest. That's why the people at the top of the chart. That's why Gary Barlow's been big for so many years because he's such a lovely bloke. Everyone wants to help him out. Ollie Murs, fantastic. He's really nice to everyone. That's why it works. Whereas you see certain singers who may not be nice to everyone and then they have a slow decline. I don't know. But yeah, I'd say be nice, write songs, do gigs.
Awesome, thanks. That's great. Anyone else?
We have time for one more question. Here in the corner.
What's like the best story you've got about the making of the album?
The best story I've got about making the album. Let's have a think. I'm just trying to have a think. I mean, the first day I went in with Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin's one of these legendary producers who he started Def Jam. He did all the first Run DMC and Beastie Boys records. He then did like Johnny Cash and Red Hot Chili Peppers, Eminem, Jay-Z, like all these amazing people. He's a big producer, and I don't think he ever wanted to produce my album. I think it just happened. Like, he started coming down to gigs, and I'd be like, oh, are we going to get in? He'd be like, yeah, man, I really like your music. I'd be like, yeah, cool, are we going to get in? He's like, just, music's really cool, man. And then we were on email, and I was in LA at the time, and he lives in Malibu, and he was just like, yeah, man, just come round, we'll chat, we'll listen to songs, play me what you got, because I said the album's done. And I went round there, I played the finished album, we drank some tea, and he was just there the whole time. He's got a big beard, and he's stroking his beard, and be like, see, I like this song. This song doesn't sound right. Why have you got drums on this song? Why do you? And I was like, what would you do, Rick? Like, if you were producing this album, what would you do? And he's like, you know what I'd have you do? I'd have you just sit in the studio, just you, an acoustic guitar and a loop pedal, and play everything live like you would at a normal gig, and then record it and just see what happens. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, do you want to go do it? And I was like, yeah. Went to his studio, set up a pedal, set up a guitar. Must have bashed through probably about 50 songs, just like one after the other, one after the other, one after the other, and then went back and listened to it, and it sounded fantastic. So I spent the next month and a half with him. Like, he's one of these people that he sold Def Jam, so he's not poor, and he's produced some of the biggest records of all time. So he doesn't ever have to work with anyone he doesn't want to work with. So when he works with you, he really wants to put his all into it and bring out the best of it. And there are some songs on the album that I recorded with Rick that worked in my head better as the original demos because I recorded them the day that I wrote them, if that makes sense. And Rick wasn't about having all the album him, he was having all the album sound great. He just wanted it to sound good, and I just love that. He's one of the best people I've worked with. I don't know if that's a good story, but yeah. I mean, in his studio though, people just roll through. You're sitting there, I don't know if anyone's a Rage Against the Machine fan, but Tom Morello just walked in, looked at guitar amp, and then walked out, and I didn't really have time to clock it. And then Frank Ocean's next door, and you're like, Pharrell's the same. David Blaine turned up at a Pharrell session, and Leonard Nimoy, they're just there, chilling. It's like, what are you doing? It was great, yeah.
All right, I think we're going to have to call questions, I'm afraid, because we're running out of time. Thank you to everyone in here for your questions, and to everyone on Twitter, and most importantly, thank you to Ed for coming down and giving us time today.
Thank you. Can I say thank you to every single one of you for taking the time out and coming today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you to anyone involved in the video. Cheers Google and YouTube, rocked it. Thank you to anyone tuned in. Thank you Jack for doing this, and it's fantastic. I'm excited.
Before you go, can you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing next? What have you got coming up?
What I've got coming up, I'm in Birmingham, Manchester and Liverpool tomorrow, and then I'm flying to America and playing Saturday Night Live, and then I'm going to Los Angeles to shoot the music video and do some radio. Then I'm going to France to do a show. Then I'm going to Germany, and I shouldn't tell you my diary, but it's basically load of festivals, load of radio, load of TV, tour, next album.
Not much then.
Not much.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming down. We're going to watch the VT one last time before we go. Make sure you go and pre-order. It's pre-order, right?
I'm going to tweet the link right now. It's pre-order in England, Ireland, no, UK, Ireland, Australia and Germany. It's on sale everywhere else. And the reason it's not on sale in UK, Ireland, Germany and Australia is the way the radio works. It's not instant, so you have to build it and put up a pre-order. So it's on pre-order in those 4 countries. There will be an EP eventually with remixes and all sorts of fantastic stuff, and it's on sale in every other country. So yeah, please support it. People in Laos, I sold 1 single in Lao on the last record. If we can beat that this time, I'll be happy.
Right. Head over to Ed's Twitter and get the song now, and we're going to watch the VT one last time before we go. Thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
It's late in the evening, glass on the side. I've been sad with you for most of the night, ignoring everybody here. We wish they would disappear, so maybe we could get down now. I don't wanna know if you're getting ahead of the program. I want you to be mine, lady, to hold your body close. Take another step into the no man's land. For the longest time, lady, I need you, darling. Come on, set the tone. If you feel the falling, won't you let me know? Oh, oh. If you love me, come on, get involved. Feel it rushing through you from your head to toe. Oh. This love is a blaze, I saw flames from the side of the stage, and the fire brigade comes in a couple of days. Until then, we got nothing to say and nothing to know, but something to drink and maybe something to smoke. Let it go until our roads are changed, singing we found love in a local rave. No, I don't really know what I'm supposed to say, but I can just figure it out and hope and pray. I told her my name, I said it's nice to meet you. Then she handed me a bottle of water filled with tequila. I already know she's a keeper, just from this one small act of kindness. I'm in deep. If anybody finds out, I meant to drive home, but I drunk all of it now. Not sobering up, we just sit on the couch. One thing led to another, now just kiss on my mouth. I need you, darling. Come on, set the tone. If you feel the falling, won't you let me know? Oh, oh, oh. If you love me, come on, get involved. Feel it rushing through you from your head to toe.